Hey, what's the deal? This is Jaisyn Mike, 2017 IPF Masters World Champion. Today I just want to give you guys a breakdown of what actually went down in Belarus, the ups, the downs, and how I overcame some of the worst conditions to win a world championship. So basically, let's get it from the beginning. Start off, we leave Houston, fly first class United. I think we flew into Sweden, no problems. Check my bags in. Had to split my bags, and when I split my bags, I had basically all my equipment went in one bag, and the other went in another. I believe I went to Amsterdam, and from Amsterdam to Belarus. Get to Belarus, no luggage. It was a 30-hour travel. Really didn't sleep getting there, and I made travel arrangements that were incorrect. I thought I was lifting on Tuesday and I was lifting on Saturday, so I got there basically the day before the competition, which was a huge mistake. Anytime you're lifting internationally, you always want to make sure you're there at least 2 days before, just in case they lose your luggage, get your body acclimated to your conditions. But I didn't do that. So I get there, the only thing I have on me is a singlet. I'm trying to figure out what went on with my package. No one can find my luggage. So I don't sleep. I'm up all night trying to hustle up equipment, a belt, socks, a change of clothes. I've been traveling for 30 hours. I stink. I pull up to finally get to my hotel. First person I see is Grand Higa. Higa like, yo man, you just go, they got a mall across the street, you might be able to find you some stuff there. I wound up buying some shitty Air Metcons or whatever. I had to use those to actually compete in during the competition. And I squat in a heeled shoe. And this was gonna come back to bite me a little bit later on. But so I'm also sponsored by Anderson Powerlifting, and I typically wear SBD on the platform. Don't have my belt. SBD is there. I'm thinking, okay, you can just get another setup at the venue. Well, for whatever reason, I was not able to get another SBD setup at all. So I'm just like panicking. And SBD Russia was there. So some of the guys from SBD Russia, they had some stuff. So I actually had to purchase a new shirt. I was able to purchase wrist wraps, but not the length that I use. I had to purchase some 30-inch wraps. I was able to get wrist wraps, a shirt. I had a singlet, but I had a Titan singlet because that was who I took the sponsorship under for Team USA. Long story. But I had a Titan singlet. So I can't think of the guy's name at this minute, but he hustled up some socks for me. He got in contact with a couple of the girls so that I would be able to get a belt. So I borrowed one of the girls' belts. I had borrowed some socks for one of the girls. So basically, this is just starting off terrible. To give you a little insight on this, going into the competition, I had probably the highest nomination after Ray Williams. If you look at all the categories, I was basically ahead of everyone. The next nearest person was almost 200 pounds under my nomination. So I'm really favored to win, and I'm in a position where anything can go wrong, anything can happen, and it did. The one lift that I'm not very strong at is squat. Typically I'm right around 700 to 720 or something like that, but I need everything to go right in order for me to hit that kind of number, and without a heeled shoe it's very hard for me to hit that. So I went into this knowing that I was going to have issue on squat. That was before they lost my luggage, before they lost my shoes, before I lost my belt. I'm there and I'm literally don't have all my equipment, and I'm in warm-ups. Finally get the last bit of equipment, I think, which was the belt. And I think I also got the socks around this time, some deadlift socks. So I check in, do all that stuff. So now the competition starts. My original idea was to come in and open up around 650 to 700 pounds. But with not having my squat shoes, my belt, or any of that, I decided to lower my opener. I dropped it down to 600 pounds. I was like, you know what? If I get at least 600 pounds, I should still win the competition. All I need is a 600-pound squat based on how the rest of my lifts are set up. So I go out, put 600 on the bar, and I smoke it. It was a complete smoke show. Turn around, 2 reds. So I'm like, God damn, I'm about to bomb out this meet. So my coach, Paulie, put it back in again, came back out 2-1 this time. I don't know, I can't remember who gave him the red, but it was a lot different. When you're lifting on the international stage, the judges are in a different position. They're all in front of you. There's one on the corner, one in the middle, and one on the side. So there's not like someone literally like that side view. Everyone is in front of you. You can look the judges dead in the eye looking straight ahead. So it's pretty weird. And the way that I actually squat, I squat up like more leaned over or bent over. So it's pretty hard to judge my depth from the front. And I ran into that problem in this situation. So leaving squat, so on my 3rd attempt on squat, I went for 661, which was 300 kilos or whatever. And I knew that if I was able to get the 661, I could still get to 2,000 from that position. I smoked this weight. I hit depth, I get low, come up, they call it 2-1, so I didn't hit depth. And I'll probably include the video showing these lifts throughout the competition. But I clearly hit depth, and I guess it was just hard for them to see. So going forward, when you lift in the IPF meets, you probably have to adjust your squat, because they like the more upright style squats in terms of judging calls. So now I'm down 100 pounds basically going into bench press. Now bench press, I'm one of the best bench pressers in the world, and as a master lifter I have a huge advantage over the competition. I believe, actually to be exact, Grant Higa had squatted 683 to win gold on squat. So I'm basically down 83 pounds to Grant. And I know that I have Grant by a huge margin on bench press. So I know that if I get at least my opener in, I'll take the lead in the competition. So I believe Grant opened up at like 440 or something like that, or 430. So I went with 530 instead of 562, which was my original planned opener. But at this point, when you're lifting overseas, you paid a lot of money to go to these competitions. It's not about PRing so much. It's more or less about getting the win. So I secured the bag. So I go out 529, which was a full meet IPF world record. I destroyed that. So then I jumped from 530 to 562, which 562 should have been my opener, but I changed it. So I go out and I hit that weight. I don't know what, I'm not really familiar with RPE too much, but it was probably a 7 or a 6.5 with 562 pounds. So I was like, well, you know what? Let me get this American record, which was 586 or something like that. So I said, let's put in 589 for my 3rd attempt. And my coach was like, hey man, what did you come here for? You came here, you might as well do something, shock the world. So we put in 607 for the open full meet world record, IPF world record. And I gave it a shot. I mean, I got it just about halfway up. I think it was there, but not having my shoes that I normally bench in, or my belt, I needed everything to be perfect for me to hit that lift, and it didn't work out. So I wind up missing. So what happens is a huge gap gets put in my total, you know, from taking that route. You know, when I missed 607, you know, I could have easily got 600, I could have gotten 589. So that's going to come back to haunt me a little bit later in the competition. So now we go to deadlift. I go into deadlift and I'm up 60 or 70 pounds at this point, and I originally planned on opening up at 7:05, so I tell the U.S. coach Paulie, I said, hey, let's drop my opener to whatever Grant takes. So I'm like, if I just stay close to Grant, there's no way he can catch me, and just to make sure that you know, I secure the bag, or I make sure I get the win. So Grant, for whatever reason, he opens up at 661. I haven't opened at that low in so long that it kind of threw me off. I was like, whoa, what is he trying to do? And I think for the most part, he was kind of doing the same thing, because it was a possibility that, you know, anything could have happened. You know, he probably wasn't going to beat me outright, so maybe I bomb out or something, or go for something too big and don't get it. You know, he's steady and consistent. He can mess around and get the win. He actually hits the 661. I get the 661. So now I tell the coach once again, whatever Grant puts in, I'm going to do. So Grant goes 7-11, I believe. So he goes 7-11. I go 7-11. Now from this point, I'm really not paying attention, but there's another guy lifting. I'm not 100% sure what country he was from, but he had jumped over both of us on the deadlift. So now I hit my lift. I believe Grant barely makes his. So the coach puts in 750 for me, and the guy, I can't think of the other guy's name, he finished third in the competition. He put in 745 or something like that. And he goes out, and he's actually before me, and he hits his lift. So I'm like, oh shit. The most I've hit in training, leading up to IPF Worlds, was 738. Now I've pulled 805 before, so I can pull big weight, and I've also pulled 771 on a stiff bar and all that kind of stuff. So technically I should have been okay, but been dealing with a lot of injuries, hadn't really had the chance to train. So I'm like, this is the first time in my whole powerlifting career I was actually lifting with something on the line. So here I am lifting for the gold on the line. I take 750 and I smoke it. I mean, it was like pretty convincing too. It was almost like I probably was good for another 30 pounds if I needed it. So I didn't know at the time, I didn't realize that they gave medals out for each individual discipline. So with that being the case, I wound up finishing with 1912 total of 485 Wilks. I wound up winning gold on bench press with 2 world records. My opener as well as my second attempts, both were world records. One was a world record for a full meet, and the other was an outright single lift world record, which was wound up being 562 pounds. And then on deadlift, I wound up winning gold as well with a 750 deadlift. And didn't pay attention, but I wound up losing best overall lifter to someone basically by a couple of pounds. So that's why I said that if I would have known, I could have either gone up a little bit more. I could have gone up a little bit more on my deadlift to make sure I secured the top lifter. But I think the guy, he was like a 105 or something like that. He had like a hell of a day, so he out-wilks me by a couple percentage points. And if I'd have known all this shit was going on, I probably wouldn't have taken the 606. Going for the open world record. I would have secured the bag, in a sense, made sure I got first place. But I did get second place. It's a pretty nice trophy. This was the second most impressive lifter in the Masters division. So going forward, I'll now pay attention to it. So I wound up, basically, I had like a terrible meet, but I still won gold by around 70 or 80 pounds. So it really wasn't indicative or didn't show what I really wanted to do going in. But when you lift in international competition, the #1 goal is to secure the bag. So let me show you guys the medals as well. Alright, so the medals are really nice. This one right here, I believe, is for gold on bench. And this one right here is gold on deadlift. And this one is the world title. This is for first place overall. Pretty nice, pretty heavy. I mean, pretty substantial, you know. You go to one of these meets or these international tournaments and you want to do well, but at the same time you want to come home with hardware. So what I'll do is I'll have the video sprinkled with the lifts and stuff from the video. And yep, so at the end of the day, that's pretty much how this broke down. I became a world champion. And my meet, it was not up to par. Everything went well but my squat. And my goal going into this meet was to actually put up a top 5 number in the super heavyweight class. And I believe if I would have had all of my equipment, I believe I would have put up somewhere around 2100, which would have put me in that top 5, top 6 scenario. So it was kind of tough, you know, going to a meet that far away and not be on all cylinders. But nevertheless, I still competed, I still won, and took home gold. So the big question a lot of people ask about me is, why on earth am I still in the 120 class? I mean the 120 plus class. I probably should cut down. And I'm in a very funny position because we have Ray Williams as a 120 plus, who's no one in the world is going to beat him. And you have Dennis Cornelius at 120, who's just as bad as Ray, you know, in GOAT status. So I'm in a rock and a hard place. But the one thing about going down to 120 is that the total at 120, if you know you total around 2020, you can get on the podium. So I have to cut down to 120 to really stay active as an open lifter. And the problem is that when you become an elite level athlete in the USAPL and the IPF, your scheduling, your year becomes pretty warped. So where am I going to have the time to lose 30 pounds and at the same time be competitive in all these different meets? So that's something that I'll be dealing with over the next year or so. Hopefully 2018 at some point. Hopefully by 2018's World Raw Nats, I'll be able to make my debut at 120. But I was going to do it coming in this year, but I wasn't going to have time to find a qualifying meet and cut weight. So there you have it. I finished with 1912, 485 Wilks, 600 squat, 562 bench, 750 deadlift. And also I took an attempt at the open world record on bench press. So that was my IPF Worlds. Be on the lookout for more content, more videos. I will do more breakdowns on meets. I'm a little bit behind and I will catch up because we have bench nationals coming up next week in Killeen, Texas, where I have to take on TD Davis for the national title. Alright, so later. So this is J Mike. Holla at your boy.